name is Aiden, and today we are going to be doing a bit of a deep dive into a long-standing copyright infringement case of treachery, of deceit, and betrayal. Yes, of course, we are talking about the time when Marcus Gray sued the one and only Katy Perry. So what, actually happened here? So Marcus Gray, or perhaps better known as Christian rapper Flame, sued Katy Perry in 2014 for copyright infringement. Now, Marcus Gray and party believed that Katy Perry's song Dark Horse infringed on the copyright of Flame's song Joyful Noise. They believed that not only did she copy his song, but also that, and I quote, "The devoutly religious message of Joyful Noise has been irreparably tarnished by its association with the witchcraft, paganism, black magic, and Illuminati imagery evoked by the same music in Dark Horse." Now, this claim is funny to me for two reasons. First is that this claim has much more to do with the music video for Dark Horse rather than the actual composition. So it's a little bit confusing as to why they decided to include it. It's also not something that you can be sued for exactly. So why they included it in this complaint multiple times is a little bit beyond me, but that's Flame for you. Now, the plaintiffs hired Todd Decker, a musicologist and professor at Washington University in St. Louis. That's where I'm from. Wow. St. Louis rep. We have the Arch and very bad pizza. But that arch, it's a pretty cool arch. And Mr. Decker here was asked to do his musicology magic, if you will, on these two pieces. In his report, he says that the repeating ostinatos in Dark Horse and Joyful Noise, quote, contain the following similarities: a pitch sequence of 3-3-3-3-2-2 on evenly spaced notes, okay, timbre, debatably, a purported phrase length of 8 notes, and the placement of the ostinato in the sound recordings mix. Now, of course, none of these are protectable by copyright, but Decker argued that it was the combination of them that was significant. Now, I'm going to play the ostinato from Dark Horse, and then I'm going to play the ostinato from Joyful Noise, and I want you to take a listen and see if you think the similarities are significant. Yeah, I mean, they're similar, sure. But the funniest thing to me is that Decker specifically points out the timbre of the two synths. Now, I don't know how much Todd, our boy Todd, knows about synth, but the sounds of these two synths are so different, not even a little bit similar. The sound in Dark Horse is a lot airier, almost sounds like a vocal sample of some kind, maybe. And the synth in Joyful Noise sounds like maybe a sawtooth with a glide to it, and it's much more pingy as opposed to the softer sound of Dark Horse. It's hard to even compare them at all because they're just so different. So why he decided to say it and point out that the timbres are similar is, again, beyond me. And these other similarities are so commonplace that, of course, they're not protectable by copyright at all, like a purported phrase length of 8 notes. Like the idea that a melody with 8 notes in it is original to Christian rapper Flame in 2008 is outrageous, obviously. Another quote from Decker that I love is, quote, "I have not seen another piece that descends in the way these two do." Really? You've never seen or heard another song that descends the minor scale from 3 to 1? Never? I just tell you that day will never feel bad. The family story. In case you couldn't tell, that was just a few examples of songs that descend the minor scale from 3 to 1. Not exactly a new thing, not exactly a unique thing. That's such a crazy sentence. So having heard all the facts, right? All the musicology vernacular that's been used here, and your own ears, I want you to take a guess at how this case turned out, right? Okay, so is it A, the case, it went to trial, but the jury found Katy Perry to be innocent of infringement? Or is it B, there was a motion for summary judgment and the case never saw trial? I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. All right, have you had some time to think? Trick question. It was neither. It went to trial and the jury found her guilty. Dun dun dun. Yeah, so not only did this case see a jury, but the jury were thoroughly convinced that a melody on a synth descending the minor scale in quarter notes is protectable by copyright. And not only that, but that these two particular synth melodies descending the minor scale on quarter notes were similar enough to... Ugh, it doesn't make any sense. So how did this happen? Well, the short answer is that Todd Decker said some things in his report that Marcus Gray's party used to confuse the jury of non-musician folk into thinking that these melodies were one and the same, in essence. There was one interesting turn that the case took where Perry's lawyers brought up the ASCAP blanket license. The ASCAP is the American Society for Composers, Authors, and Publishers. And the blanket license basically allows you to perform the entirety of ASCAP's repertory as many times as you want for a single low fee, right? Now, Perry's party argued that the live performances, at least of Dark Horse, could not have possibly infringed on Joyful Noise because Joyful Noise fell under the blanket ASCAP performance license, which they owned. So even by some incredible stretch of the imagination that these two lines are the same, there's no possible way that the copyright could have been infringed, at least in the live performances, because of this. But even so, that was not enough for the jury to be convinced, and they said that Perry was guilty, and that's how that was. But thankfully, music is saved. The jury's verdict was overturned in March of 2020 by Judge Snyder. Thank you, Snyder. So Perry is innocent. And now Gray's party did, of course, appeal after this decision, because why wouldn't they? They won once already, they can do it again. And there's actually a full audio and visual recording of this hearing. And it's so funny how hard they are still leaning and clinging to Decker's words in his report.
So what is it that should give protection to that short, maybe not quite all that distinctive phrase?
Well, our expert said it was distinctive. He's the musicologist.
Now, if I have not been clear enough for this whole video, I fully do not agree that the ostinatos are similar enough to warrant even a court case. I think that there should have been an immediate motion to say, hey, there's nothing to see here. This is so silly. Why bother? As well, there are several examples of prior art with melodic phrases just as similar to joyful noise as Dark Horse is. Adam Neely famously compared these ostinatos to a Bach piece. That's about all I have. Thank you for watching. I know that the people who are watching this are in class and are being forced to watch this, but I appreciate it anyway. In conclusion, as similar to Jorful? What the fuck? Or B, there was a motion for summary judgment. My laundry's done. Todd Decker, a musicologist and professor at Washington University,